welcome to Future Built. As always, we hope this week's episode will help educate, empower, and elevate how you Bluebeam. I'm Ryan, and this is the first episode of our Behind the Scenes series, giving you a look behind the curtain here at Bluebeam. Today, I'm sitting down with Luke, and we're talking about the secret, or should I say not so secret formula for getting the most out of your software. First, we're going into a segment called With a Little Help from Bluebeam. Check out this video to hear from one of our customers.
Bothman Construction has some of their own unique challenges. Bluebeam's team came in, found out what their challenges were, and was able to provide an efficient way for them to continue to do their day-to-day work. Bluebeam went the extra mile to make sure they were set up for success. They wanted some additional guidance on the best use case that matched their needs, and the team at Bluebeam did just that. They now confidently use Bluebeam products every day. Bluebeam's team of industry consultants helped create new custom workflows while making sure they had the tools to get the most out of the product. The intentional approach to understand their needs has made all the difference in how they Bluebeam. Robert A. Bothman Construction is a unique company and has unique challenges. Bluebeam is very thankful for Bothman's team to let us come in and be able to work with them and to be able to provide an efficient way for them to continue to work.
I'm here today with Luke Prescott, who heads up the design and product team here at Bluebeam. And today he's here to give us a few of his tips and tricks to really give us the secret formula of how to use Bluebeam.
All right. Well, maybe the line is that it's not so secret.
Interesting. The not so secret formula of using Bluebeam.
Yeah.
Well, tell me a little bit about that. Luke, tell me what it is that differentiates Bluebeam from other applications and products out there.
Yeah. I think there's a number of things. It'd probably be really interesting to get that from customers, to hear all the various things that they would classify as what makes Bluebeam unique for them.
Well, that's true. I think that something that comes up a lot is when people are shopping for, the product that they want to use, there's a lot of questions about, well, why would I use Bluebeam over something else? Or what can it do that something else can't do? Or why would I choose to work with this product as opposed to something else?
Probably the things that stand out the most would be self-service, easy to use, and shareable. We could kind of put that in the sort of collaboration.
Right.
All of our tools are just ready to go out of the box. So you can download a trial, you can purchase your trial, you have your license, and within minutes really be working on a PDF, marking it up, sharing it with someone else. So there's really nothing like sort of hidden or secretive. It's not very difficult. You don't have to have the sort of broad technical skills in order to get value out of it. The other area I think that separates us from other applications is the ability to just be able to make your mark and share it with someone else, and they can access to it. And they understand your intent.
And you can have confidence that when you share it with somebody that it's going to be compatible with their device. They're going to be able to use it wherever they are, that sort of thing.
There's a lot of other apps that are sort of in the broad collaboration space. They typically require you to be in their system on those files. And if you're in this system and on those files, then you can sort of work together with your team. The way that Bluebeam's approach really philosophically has been saying, let's leverage the PDF as a common language. Let's mark up together there. And that could be so much as just a single user on a single set of PDFs marking up and then even emailing it to someone. Right now, there's lots of other ways that you can collaborate with people that don't require email, but even something as simple as that can be done right out of the box. Now we have other tools and functions, things like Studio, which allow for folks to mark up PDFs together in real time. But all this is just out of the box available functionality that is self-service, it's easy to use, and doesn't require a sort of steep learning curve.
That's interesting. I think that what people are looking for a lot of times when they come to us is kind of like arcane knowledge, like some sort of secret, something that is either hidden or unattainable. So look, if somebody came to you and they were to ask you like, well, tell me everything that's new, what's coming out. How would they figure out what's new going on with Bluebeam right now?
So let me first say that we've been at this for many years, 20 plus years. So there's a lot of tools and functions in there. And when you start to sort of chain these together, you get to these outcomes that are really interesting. So what's fun about our application is that it's purpose built for design and construction, but it's not prescriptive, meaning that like when you open it up, it's just a gray screen, and then we don't know what PDF you're going to open in there. That's really sort of, what are you going to do with that? What do you want to measure? What do you want to communicate? What's the problem you want to solve? And so by even interacting with photos and doing cut and paste with snapshots and markups and ways of using that in other files as well, you start to bring that, and you can start to tell the story of your intent. I think really fundamentally, Bluebeam empowers intent. So there are trades, designers, engineers, builders, owners that all have an intent. And relaying that intent is really difficult to do, let's just say, through either spoken word or just written word. And so we have developed plans and specs to kind of be the way to describe intent. Well, if it were so easy, if it's just the plans and specs were enough, it never is. And so Bluebeam provides a way for me as an individual user to describe my intent for any given scenario, whatever it might be. So I think that's maybe one of the differentiating factors that makes our app unique, in that we don't prescribe how to express intent, but we let our customers do that on their
Let's dig into that a little bit deeper. Let's say that you have a specific intent, something that you're definitely trying to do. What are some ways that using Bluebeam can help you that maybe other products fall a little short?
Let's just start at the basics. And I think people ask a lot, like, I'm only scratching the surface. What else is there to it? So in the most fundamental sense, you might open up a PDF that you already have access to. It's a plan. Let's just say it's a floor plan that someone has sent to you in some fashion. You might start with just wanting to grab one of the tools out of the menu or off a toolbar, but in reality, we have a tool chest. So rather than using a tool as a one-off and just continue to use one-offs, use a tool chest where you can save it and reuse it, share that with other people on your team, put your company branding in it, use it, customize the look and feel of that to sort of align with what makes the most sense. So now you've kind of just leveled up just a basic markup. Well, the tool chest then has a whole suite of functions that improve how you can do a takeoff, as an example. So if you're in a type of material, let's say it's steel framing where you have common lengths, you may want to just drop out on the sheet those common lengths at a specified size. Those can be saved to the tool chest in what we call drawings mode.
Sure.
There's also a properties mode where you could pull those items out frequently and be a different size or dimension every single time, but it retains all the same properties.
Right.
So those are like these kind of subtle nuances. All those are improvements over just using just a single markup off of a menu.
Right.
So then let's say, okay, great. Let's add some metadata to a markup. Maybe that's a comment, it's a status, or it's using custom comments or custom columns, I should say. Well, that then populates in the markups list, which is sort of the Excel for markup metadata. All of this is sort of stacking functionality.
Right.
So let's just say you've never used the markups list. For those of you that have used the markups list, you realize, oh, well, it's a whole new layer to the application once you get access to that. Well, once you're now interacting with the markup data, you're setting statuses and comments. Now you say, let's get the markup data out.
Right.
Whole suite of exports. Well, that export isn't just on a single
Excel,
file.
you might
right.
say. I want
I need Excel, or I want to give you just a really clean list of things I need you to attend to. Right. So as a one-off, do that on a single file. But to go a layer deeper, we have things like batch summary, where you can run a complex, if you so desire, complex set of filters and sorts across all your markup metadata across any number of PDFs, and then generate reports on that.
Yeah.
So you started just this basic, I want to open a PDF and mark it up, all the way scaled to, actually, I want to produce these detailed reports that I can distribute out to various team members for their action.
Let's talk a little bit more about, I know that something that we wanted to touch on here was a few tips and tricks. You know, those kinds of things come up a lot.
Yeah.
Let's say that you were meeting with somebody and they wanted to, I think that what we're trying to find is these kind of the hidden gems of using review,
Yeah.
Do you have any hidden gems, any tips and tricks that you want to share?
There's generally, and I know this is maybe a little bit too high level, but if there's a way to do it once, there's probably a way to do it multiple times or in batch, right? So
yes.
so let's take the whole concept of applying the same markup to a number of pages, right? You can place a markup on any page. You can right-click that markup and say apply to all pages.
Sure.
Well, a little tip and trick, if you were to pre-select out only certain thumbnails in the thumbnails panel, and then you go do the right-click, it wouldn't say apply to all pages, but it would apply to the page range of the markups of the pages that you have selected in the thumbnails panel.
Interesting.
Other tools would be things like the batch link tool. So we have a way to create a hyperlink on a PDF, and it's just simple as sort of dragging a box. You can then apply a link to that and say that, when I click on this box, it takes me to whatever location. Well, that's expanded into tools like batch link, which lets you use various forms of metadata on the sheet sets and link up those files together, and it will automatically generate links. And depending on the metadata that's used, it can create essentially thousands of links in seconds.
So that's a good example of something that you might do one at a time, one hyperlink at a time. But if you dug a little deeper, you would discover that you have the ability to kind of automate that process,
right?
And do multiple links simultaneously. And there's a lot of features like that in review that have the ability to be kind of automated in that sense.
Yeah, and another great example just along the same lines. So each markup really knows where it lives on the PDF. It's got an XY coordinates. So if you're doing a takeoff of a multi-story building and a lot of the floors are the same, you can do a takeoff on one floor, select all those measurements, go to another page, and essentially do a Control-Shift-V. It's a paste in place.
Sure.
It's a pretty common function in a lot of other applications, but it just simply takes all those markups out of their sort of known location and copies and pastes them into this exact same XY coordinates, assuming the sort of you've got the subsequent floors are fairly similar. But even if they're not, you've got a pretty good head start on not having to sort of start.
I mean, you do want to be careful with that, so you don't end up with a toilet,
that's
in
right.
the middle of an atrium or something like that. That's
that would be a problem.
With great power comes great responsibility. That sort of thing. So I think that one thing that we were interested in kind of digging into here is, where people can find out how to go farther. They feel like they've scratched the surface. They want to go deeper. So where can they go to discover, kind of that higher level of Bluebeam knowledge?
I mean, the first thing I would recommend is tap into our community. So we've got our community group that's available.
Excellent.
A lot of
people.
Really great dialogue that's happening there. There are some Bluebeam employees there, but really, I think the value and the power of the group are these really advanced experts that are always happy to help.
I mean, I know I've gone into the community and I have picked up some tribal knowledge there myself, so it is a great resource for that kind of stuff.
And we do post release notes. There's really great dialogues about future feature suggestions. So I think it's a really good place to kind of stress test ideas, get help with something with the ways that can be better. And in fact, it's even really, you don't even have to ask a question about a specific feature. You can just ask a question about hey, here's kind of the problems I'm trying to solve.
Right.
What do you think would be some good ways to solve this?
Yeah, we see that a lot where people are like, I do it this way, but I feel like there's a better way to do it. How do you guys do this?
And the reality is there's probably 2 or 3 different ways to do it, but depending on the conditions, they're not, one of them isn't necessarily better than the others. It all really just sort of depends. The other thing I think is really interesting too is that we've seen a shift in, I would maybe say the last few years in really advanced CAD work happening within review on a PDF. And so just as you're thinking about sort of growing your knowledge and adapting to changing trends, community is a place where you'll kind of absorb that. And one of the impacts that we've seen is this sort of direct on blank PDF CADing. It's really cool the way people can use the tool chest. They can bring items out. Obviously, the line work is typically going to be all black. They'll bring it all out, then they'll flatten it, and they'll just create a typical set of details with the title block and all that information from scratch. And you would think, well, there's a lot of other applications that are for that, and I mean they are, and those can be used. But being able to do that really in a matter of minutes, within an application that's on most everyone's desktop, by just simply having a set of pre-made tools and templates. You can really sort of advance how you do what you're doing. So I guess maybe the question is, if you're only scratching the surface, what does it look like to go a couple levels deeper for the benefit of your sort of competitive edge within your local market?
Right.
So you got to think probably most of our users are doing this because there's ways to have a competitive advantage within their local market for the projects that they're working on. So it helps them communicate better, work more efficiently, and most likely there's a few layers that can go deeper to kind of improve that.
Yeah, well, not only that, but if you're working in an organization that is invested in this software, and you can extract more value out of it by becoming more of an expert in it, then that's always good.
Yeah,
that's good for everybody.
Yeah, that's right. And we've seen over the years, I mean, countless stories of Bluebeam experts becoming sort of trainers and sort of consultants within their organizations or for other organizations, just going out there and helping people learn these subtle tips and tricks. I think what's so fun about our technology is that, and I think most people that discover it, they discover one or two little things and they're like, oh, this is great. I love this. This is all I need. And it's like, okay, that's fine. Yeah. However, if you just learn one or two more things, it's like, oh, that's really great. That's going to really help me. So
it can also be limited to how you use the tool too. Like you may have blinders on where you're very focused on like the kind of estimation sort of tools without thinking about any of the other stuff. But some people on the other hand are just kind of interested in a holistic approach to like, well, how could this be used? I mean, exactly like you were talking about, like CAD drawing on a blank PDF. I mean, that's definitely not a use case we would have originally envisioned, but it's cool that that's possible.
Yeah. And so I mean, some folks are looking to figure out, how do I develop systems and practices for my entire organization across all these different work streams? That's a great, big, and valuable challenge to solve. Yeah. However, there's also other individuals that are just trying to solve one-off problems that they're trying to improve. So I think there's lots of tools and resources out there to help. We don't try to hide anything or make it difficult to find anything. It's we consider it a non-technical app. There are some things like scripting. We do have APIs available through our developer network, but those are really more technical tools that are designed for users that are looking for a very specific solution that they're attempting to build into. But for the most part, it's a user-friendly UI with lots of options. And
lots of resources for people that want to find out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of really great content out there.
Well, before we wrap up here, Luke, I can't let you go. I know that people are still itching to know what's new. You know, they got to know it. So let's say if you had to pick one cool new thing that you wanted everybody to know, to leave this conversation with, what are you most excited about in the last few months or recently?
New that's available today or coming out?
Your dealer's choice.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to do
wet
both.
their whistle with a little something, whatever you feel like.
This last year was a great year. We built some really cool, useful functionality. So just a few things that I'm pretty excited about. One, from an end user functionality standpoint, we built the new keyboard shortcuts for statuses in the markups list.
That's huge.
It's pretty nice. On top of that, we added a tool chest search, right? So quickly accessing across all tool sets, you can just perform a quick search. The new auto align function in overlay is really neat. No longer you don't have to pick points anymore and try to get these sheets to line up. But
that's really one of those features where it's taking something that you would have spent a lot of time doing by hand and
sort
of doing it for you, and the time saved there is huge.
And it's just one of those options. Just in the drop down, you use the option, and then it works. So those are, I'd probably say, from the end user standpoint. On the IT admin standpoint, which maybe a lot of users don't know, that we've got a really large percentage of our users are IT admins.
Yeah,
they're looking to manage licenses better, meet compliance requirements. Ties into purchasing and management of assets and licenses and all that.
It's interesting because it's not who you would think of as the traditional review user, but they're definitely somebody that come to us a lot with very specific things that they need to get fixed, which on paper may not seem that exciting, but to an IT admin are a totally game-changing, world-shaking thing.
Yeah, we made a bunch of updates to SSO and SCIM for management of large accounts. So I think those things have been pretty important for us. And then on the innovation front, actually, let me add one more thing on the integration.
We got so much new stuff. He can't even
So
shut him up. I love this.
We actually just released our markup API into our developer network. It's in a beta state, which
I know
we love beta.
I know and love.
Yeah. But what this does is this allows a developer to programmatically access all of the markup data in Studio Sessions.
Yeah.
And you can also then write to the statuses, so you can change a status programmatically.
Oh wow!
So this is going to open up a whole new world of ways of sourcing markup data, building reports, dashboards, little widgets that can update statuses,
tying in status, and issue tracking and things like that.
Yeah. There'll be. I think that it will be really interesting to see what the market does with that and various developers. We know we've got a bunch of folks that are really excited to get at that and start using it. So those are some of the most exciting stuff. But okay, let's do one more.
Okay.
In beta right now, we have a whole series of updates to the tool chest. So the tool chest has been a sort of valuable part of review for a number of years. It is one of the ways that I think many of our customers appreciate the efficiency that we can provide by just being able to save and reuse tools however they choose to make them. But we've had a long list of updates that customers have requested for years that we're able to address a number of those. It's great. It's really cool to see that coming together. That's in beta. That will launch later this year. We know that our customers have really high expectations for the tool chest and how it works, and it's pretty central to their businesses. So we want to get it right. But we're excited about that one.
All right, Luke. Buckle your seatbelts. Put your trays in the upright position, because we are coming in again hot.
I'm ready.
On another batch of mean tweets. That's right. These are tweets sent into us from real Bluebeam customers just like you who are really letting us have it, raking us over the coals and any other analogy you might have for being mean. That's what we're doing.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
And let's just get into it.
Great.
Sure. Here we go. All right. Mean tweet number 1 coming in from Daniel Scully. A member of the X-Files, perhaps? No. A Bluebeam user. That's right. This person says, look, if they gave an award for the program with the most bugs, y'all are winning it in a landslide. This is the most frustrating, perplexingly unreliable program I've ever had to work with. All right?
Well, award-winning.
Okay, yeah, I mean, he does point out that it's an award-winning product, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's hard. I do wonder what that award looks like, though.
This guy is winning an award for hurting my feelings, I'll tell you that much, and I don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, number 2. This one's coming in from Cherith Cute Story. Not exactly the name you might expect from somebody who's a general contractor or something like that, but you never know. Maybe that's the story in question is a story of a building. Several stories, right?
Several stories.
Well, that's a cute story, you say, when you're on the construction site.
Look at that.
What a cute story. Anyways, this person says, maybe stop pushing out BS updates.
Maybe.
Yeah, he is in the passive voice.
Yeah.
Maybe stop pushing out BS updates that make me shut down every program I'm running, reboot my computer, and waste 20 plus minutes of reconnecting to VPN, getting Revit to reboot and load files. And remember what it was I was doing before I had to derail my day because I couldn't open the consultant set without updating? Thanks.
Yeah, that's a pain. I empathize with this one. It's a total pain. The way the installer works, the plugins and all that have to get shut down. It's total pain. I get it.
What a surprise. You're taking the customer side again, throwing me, making me play the bad cop. Well, you know what? Maybe I like rebooting my computer. Nobody asked me what I like, That's fine. All right, let's move on to the next one. Burbs for Life, the person is called. Is he a fan of the Tom Hanks movie from the 80s?
Hanks movie, yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Burbs.
Probably not. But maybe. Who knows? It was a good movie. That's all I could say.
Yeah.
Anyway, Burbs for Life says, or how about you create an AI version and not be the Sears of takeoff software? I'm afraid it's already late enough, though.
Ooh.
That's kind of a low blow to Sears.
The Sears of takeoff software. It is a low blow to Sears.
Yeah. I mean,
Sears was great.
yeah, Sears.
I
I
grew up going to
got a
Sears.
very nice washing machine at a Sears once. You
Yeah.
know, and I still have it to this day. And if review is half as reliable as that washing machine, why I'd be happy. You
Yeah,
know?
that's right. Well, we are to Mr. Burbs for life.
Yeah.
We are doing some
Or
work.
Mrs. Burbs for life.
Or Mrs. Burbs for life. We are doing some work on this front.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into this.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things to be considered, but
Yeah.
we are looking at thoughtfully bringing AI into the app.
Yeah,
where it makes sense.
Look forward to next season when Stable Diffusion has recreated Luke and I, and we're in here, delivering to you straight off of ChatGPT. It's gonna be great. Yeah. All right, we're gonna wrap this up, this love fest that we've been having, with a YouTube comment from Nate Charles, who says, "I love Bluebeam, but why is the iPad version so bad?" You know.
Yeah.
A simple question.
Yeah.
Why? Maybe you could stop dancing around the issue and come up with an answer or two. You know. What do you think?
Yeah. The iPad version, it's not great. It's not great. It's gone too long without updates.
Yeah.
But I'll say we're sending it off into the sunset. It's had a long, good life. We are heavily investing in our new Bluebeam iOS and Bluebeam Android apps, also our web app as well. There's a whole new set of technologies that we want to focus on that does not include Review iPad. It's done well for a long time. Mm-hmm. It's done what it needed
Certainly
to do.
popular. That's why we get
Yeah,
comments like this.
that's why that's why people love it. But yes, that version, Review iPad, it's gonna be sent off into the sunset here soon.
Sent upstate to a nice farm.
That's right.
You know.
That's exactly right.
That's good.
Yep.
Well, hopefully that will satisfy Nate Charles's hunger for more information about the iPad app. We'll see. I don't know. But stick around because we will be coming back with more mean tweets in a future episode so you can see what happens when Luke and I are back in the hot seat. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Future Built. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn, and learn more about our in-person global conference at unbound.bluebeam.com. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know at community.bluebeam.com, and we'll see you next time.